welcome. My name is Rusty Humphreys, and she is Nisha Jackson, PhD, and this is the Nisha Jackson Show. By the way, PhD, it's supposed to be a little H, not a big H, and I got it wrong, and I'm sorry.
But you're still brilliant. You're still brilliant. I forgive you.
That's okay.
It's kind of a silly thing anyway, the way they do the whole PhD thing, like whatever.
I mean,
it doesn't matter. Initials don't matter.
Can I just say I feel bad for the little H? That's just
I do feel bad. It's not getting enough credit.
It's not. It's not. I don't get it. It's not right. All right. So you had, okay, last time you were here, I don't know if you were hopped up on smack or what. Or
I
what
did look like it.
You hopped up on happy juice. I mean, you came back from some retreat at some arrhythmia thing, and you were just happy and excited. And are you still? And okay, it wasn't arrhythmia. That's a heart thing. It's rhythmia, right?
Right. Yeah, and I didn't go to get an irregular heart rate with an arrhythmia. I went to get my heart healed, which I did do, and it's called rhythmia. Yeah, no, it was interesting coming back, Rusty, because I knew it would be. There were a lot of people that are really close to me here at work and family members that were a little worried about me reacclimating back to the my real world. But I have to say what really shocked me, and I think I said it 15 times in the first day I was back, is it's such a strange thing to come back to the exact world that I left. Nothing's changed here. Geez, I was only gone for 8 days. Mm-hmm. Nothing's changed, but my world looked entirely different to me, like entirely different. And I just was really tripped out about that, thinking, why does my world look different? Like I'm not wound up in my head, and I'm not feeling anxious about what I have to do today. I mean, normally Mondays would literally, I don't know, for 30 years put me right over the edge, because I'm just like having so much anxiety. I'm like got this little shake thing going on. Like I've got so much to do. How am I going to get it done? And anyone that works Monday through Friday probably can relate to that, right?
Sure.
Most people are jammed up on Mondays, and you just don't know how you're going to get through the week. And it's just a lot of it's just like anxiety producing. And I didn't have that. And I knew I was going to get through my week okay. I offloaded a bunch of stuff to people that are extremely capable of taking care of it. And I think maybe what changed with me was just letting it go, like not having to have control of that.
So you still feel from the 8 days, which was a week or so ago, you still feel better. Is that fair?
I feel amazing. I feel like I got a new brain and a new perspective, and I desperately needed it. As I've told you before, I want to help people, and I want to do this. I want to stay in the game until I take my last breath. I don't have any plans to retire. I don't want to always work this hard, but I want to stay in the game of helping people and spreading the word of how to stay healthy, because it's the reason I was put on this earth, but I can't do it in an unhealthy fashion. And I think that I was tricking myself. I think that I was tricking myself that, hey, I'm really helping people and I'm taking care of myself. I'm eating well. I'm exercising. I'm taking all my supplements. My hormones are perfectly balanced. And so I can do anything and everything. And it's not possible. It's not possible. There has to be some limits. And you have to trust people to do things that will help you, and then let them take it. Even if they don't do it perfectly, like let them take it.
So are you I don't want to say control freak, but is that one of your things?
Yes, I'm a control freak. Yeah, you can say it. I'm a recovering control freak.
Have you noticed it better since you've been back?
Yeah, I freely admit it. I'm a control freak.
Okay.
And I think, and I'm just kind of a freak in general, but I think it's because I really like things done the right way, right? Most business owners are like that. Most entrepreneurs are like that. They have a vision. They know exactly what they want with their product. They know how it should be done. And so trusting people to help them with that, and letting people maybe not do it perfect and just let it be revised over time. it's a little bit of a brain scramble for me. And yet I found myself coming back saying, you know what, it's all right. What is the worst thing that can happen? It's going to be okay. This is not life or death if some process is not perfect.
All right. So how did you get there? How did that come about? What happened to make that happen?
Well, I know it's a good question. I really feel like at Rhythmia, it was a combination of many different modalities. It was, super clean eating, like we talked about on our last show, very high vibration foods, foods that were completely untouched by man. And I mean, foods from the ground, foods that walk around, foods from trees, nuts and seeds, just like whole 100% unaltered foods, which is really not what people are eating.
So, for example, the sesame seeds on the Big Mac, because that's got meat, and then the seeds that comes from the plants. No.
If I was sitting next to you, I'd smack you.
Yeah, I guess that's probably not it. No. So
I think it's a combination of eating really well, really learning a lot of excellent ways of breathing, meditation, getting back into yoga, which I've not done for a couple of years, which I'm a huge proponent of, especially because it's so good for my body. Some of the plant medicine that we did, the workshops were so awesome. There was the work, every single workshop I did, I really learned something about, when you go to some conferences and you kind of go away, which is always typical for me. And I feel like 20% of what I heard, I can learn. This was like 110% of what I learned. It is applicable to me, and it was so helpful. So I really think it was all those things.
That's awesome. Okay, what was the name of that place again?
Rhythmia,
and it's online. We had it online, yes, on the last show. You can hear all about it if you want to go back and look at the YouTube channel or listen to the podcast on iTunes or iHeartRadio or radio.com. You can get all the information for it there, right?
Yeah, it's not for everyone. It's very intense. It's very healing. You've got to be willing and ready to take yourself and your life to the next level. And not everybody's ready for that, but I sure was, and I'm so grateful I went. It was really, really good for me. One of my good friends down in the Palm Springs area, he said to me, he goes, Nish, I think the whole world has ADD now. Like, why wouldn't the whole world have ADD? We've got all these devices we're plugged into and the sensory overload and all this input coming in. How in the world would we keep everything straight? And you know what? He's right.
Yeah.
We all have a form of ADD, and I shouldn't say we all, I'm kind of generalizing, but you know what I mean? It's like, no wonder we have brain jam with all of the input that's constantly, we can't even sit still for a second without grabbing our phone. Like, nobody can even wait in line at Starbucks and just kind of like, just sit there and kind of just like look up and just kind of, think about like how beautiful the day is, or maybe set their intentions for the day. No one's doing that crap. What they're doing is they're like constantly on their phone, like looking at something, like, just jamming through their phone really quick.
Okay, well, why is that? Is that maybe, we're trying to learn more. Maybe we're smarter than before. We want more input, or maybe not.
Yeah, I think it's just an addiction. It's an addiction to sensory input. And the problem is our brain suffers from it because it can only process so much information at a time. And when your cortisol, which is your stress hormone levels, become imbalanced, and I really think this is why my perspective is different right now. When you have so much coming into your brain at the same time. So let's just use an example. So I walked into the clinic today. This is a trigger. I walked into the clinic today and I was late for an interview. I had to interview a practitioner. I was knowing that I needed to do this podcast. My CPA flew into town from Texas to do a whole jam session for 3 days, which is kind of intense, dealing with taxes and finances and all that stuff. And I had a really early morning meeting with her that's going to continue on through the weekend. And then I went to the front desk to grab something. And then I forgot that I needed to get some makeup because we have a makeup line. So I forgot that I needed to get some makeup. So I said, hey, can you color match me really quick on some makeup? So she's like, I'm late. I'm late for an interview. She's like color matching me on some makeup. And then she's like, oh, this is the makeup you need. This is the color you need. It's suntan. So great. Give me suntan. I got to go. And so she goes to the cupboard. She goes, oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you. We didn't place our order and we don't have the right number of pallets of makeup. And somebody forgot to do this and somebody forgot to do that. And literally, I thought my head was going to blow off my shoulders. Not because that's like kind of little. That's not a big deal. Like, we'll just place the order and everything will be cheery. What was the problem was that there were 7 things going on in my brain at the same time. Okay, nobody, I don't care how brilliant you are, can deal with that over a long period of time. I'm 55. I can't do that. I shouldn't even ask myself to do that. And so anyway, I found myself getting ready to snap, like I was going to snap. And I am zenned out right now. I shouldn't be snapping. So I walked back to my office. I did 20 breaths. I walked back to my office. I'm like, Nish, get a handle on yourself. And I realized I just thought to myself, I have 7 things coming into my brain right now. How in the world is my brain supposed to process that? And so no wonder you can't remember and you can't process and you get irritable and then all of a sudden you get jammed up and you fly off the handle. No wonder the whole world is on edge, because that story I just told is not unlike anyone else that's going through a normal day. I only say that because I don't want to sound like a freak, and I'm not a freak. Well, sometimes I'm a freak, but I'm not saying it because I think I'm a freak. I'm saying that because I think I'm just like everybody else. And so what I'm trying to say is the brain can only process so much, right? So why are we asking it to do more than that? Why would I not go and get a little color match on my makeup when that was the only thing I was focusing on? If I had an interview that was coming in, why am I putting in 3 or 4 other things? I should be completely mentally aware and present for that interview, like prepared and present. And that is a lesson I'm going to have to keep working on till I take my last breath, is really being present for my current activity. And then you can start remembering. Your brain like opens up, but not when you have 7 things going into your brain at the same time. So anyway, that's a little snippet of what I think is important.
So it's not about brain chemistry, what you're talking about. It's not about taking some vitamin. It's about focus.
So it is about brain chemistry, because what I just explained, so that little situation right there, it's a good example of going into a toxic stress state. So what I'm asking my body to do when I'm in that state, I've got 7 things that I need to deal with right now. And now I'm calling for adrenaline, I'm calling for cortisol, and I'm going into my little toxic stress. So what the toxic stress does is it directly affects the brain chemicals that have everything to do with your ability to control anxiety and your ability to control your heart rate and your ability to control your mood and your reactions and your focus. That's what your brain does. So if it's affecting my brain chemicals and causing a disturbance in my brain chemicals or the output of my brain chemicals, it really makes sense that I would not react normally. And that's just a little part of it. So it is about brain chemical balance, because what we're doing to our brain is not making our brain better, it's making our brain imbalanced. So, like some of the questions that I would ask a patient that came in, we have these little brain quizzes that we give them. And some of the questions that I would ask them would be, do you have a tendency to be negative all the time? Do you have a tendency to be impatient and edgy and kind of freak out easily? Do you have panic attacks and anxiety? Do you have problems with body pain a lot? Do you have incessant cravings? Do you have a great deal of physical and emotional pain, like more than the average person? Do you crave a lot of pleasure? Do you seek pleasure all the time, like you can't get enough pleasure? Because some people seek a lot of pleasure and a lot of high risk behavior because it gives them a brain chemical that they're off balance with. Do you overuse tobacco or alcohol or sugar? Are you habituating on something? Do you easily get upset? So these are some of the things that we ask in the office to try to determine what neuro brain chemical are you low in, because there's some really simple ways of raising the brain chemicals naturally without a drug that would give you instant relief of some of these things. And I really don't like people having mood disorders. I hate when they have anxiety. It makes me so sad when they can't get a hold of their cravings, or they have body pain and they don't know why. So this is all related to brain chemistry, which I believe is just a process of getting them balanced. But then they have to do their part too, and that is stopping the brain jam, like what I just told you I was doing.
Right.
So
would you suggest supplements as well to enhance those things, or is that not where supplements help?
Yes, supplements are really key, and I love to use amino acids. Most people have heard of amino acid. There's the acids, they're byproducts of protein. Like something very simple to explain that would be like turkey has a lot of tryptophan in it, right? So it raises serotonin. So that's why everybody that just pigs out on Thanksgiving Day just wants to go to the couch and take a nap and watch football afterwards, because it works. Like turkey works. It raises it's tryptophan. It's an amino acid, and it directly raises serotonin, and it really makes you feel quite good. It makes you feel happy. But the interesting thing is serotonin can be raised other ways. So serotonin can be raised by sugar. So if you find yourself craving sugar all the time, it's very likely that you're low in serotonin. So stress lowers serotonin. So it's no wonder that people who are under a lot of stress crave sugar, because sugar works. It does raise serotonin, but only for a little while, because then it drops. And then guess what you want to do when it drops?
Sleep.
No, you want to eat. Good guess.
Well, I do, but then when I get tired, then you eat more sugar to kind of keep you going again, right? Or no?
I know, that's so right. And that's so true. And actually what you said is actually right, because a lot of people do get very tired when they eat sugar, because they just go straight down. They don't get any high from it at all. They just go straight down. So when your blood sugar goes up and then it drops down, not only does that make your adrenal glands just go off again and call for more cortisol, it raises serotonin, and then it drops serotonin. So then your brain is not screaming broccoli, Rusty. It's screaming more sugar. Give me more sugar, because I just lost the serotonin high I had. I need more.
Where are the peanut butter M&Ms?
Oh my gosh, those are so good. They're so good. Oh my gosh, they're so good, and they make me feel so bad. Anyway, so that's why people have addictions, because the stuff that they're using does work. Alcohol raises serotonin and dopamine. It works, but only for a little while, and then levels drop down. And some research has actually shown that they drop down even further the next time, so it takes more to get it back up. So that's what leads to the habituation process, which is really so damaging, because then when you start habituating on those things, you get off your life path. Yeah. You start going down you start gaining weight, and then you start hating yourself, and then you start blaming yourself. Why can't I get a handle on my sugar cravings? I'm such a loser. So you can kind of see this whole process happening, but it's really simple. It's just understanding what is that doing to you, which is what we talked about in our last show, is that really looking at things and saying, is this the best thing for me to be doing? I don't care what it is you're doing, whatever goes into your mouth or whatever situation you're exposing yourself to, is this in my highest and best interest to be participating in or partaking of? Mm-hmm.
So what do you suggest then to help with this brain chemical issue, not going into alcohol or drugs or sugar or food or the negative things? How do we make it positive?
Right. So one of the books that I love, and y'all should go to this website, because I think it's very helpful, is called Mood, MOOD, Mood. Moodcure, CURE.com, moodcure.com. Julia Ross is a friend of mine, and she is a really, really, really solid, not only researcher, but practitioner in the Bay Area. And she's written several books, Diet Cure, Mood Cure, and she's she's really kind of perfected the whole treatment of neurobrain chemical balance using amino acids. And I'd encourage you to, at the very least, go to her website, because you could take one of these questionnaires I'm talking about and kind of find out, am I low on dopamine? Am I low on norepinephrine? Am I low on serotonin? Could I fix it easily with maybe just an amino acid supplement? And I think getting your brain back on track, but also understanding that your brain can only do so much for you, even though it's brilliant and it's so powerful. It can only do so much, and we shouldn't be asking it to process 7 high stress things at one time. It's just not possible.
There's another book I would suggest, just thinking about it, that's brilliant. Brilliant Burnout, I hear, is an excellent book.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
How successful...
Yeah, she has the questionnaire in her book, too. I totally forgot.
Yes, how successful driven women can stay in the game by rewiring their bodies, their brains, and their hormones. And it's written by this cool chick here, Nisha Jackson, PhD. And you can get it at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And you can find out more information at nishajackson.com, right?
That's right. You can.
Yeah. Anything else that's got your attention that we got another show next week we're gonna get to? Sometimes you even know what you're gonna talk about next time. Any idea this time for what's next time?
Well, I'd like to keep talking about the brain, because you have just touched on like 1/16 of what I wanted to say about the brain. But anyway, I think it's really important that we just stay on the brain for a while, because I don't really know anyone that doesn't want better focus, better attention, less cravings, less anxiety, less depression, better sleep. I don't know one person that doesn't want all of that. So we got to keep teasing that out. There's so much more we can talk about with the brain. But I guess the take-home message here today is give your brain a break. Okay, don't jam your brain up with so much stuff and then expect yourself to remember things like your daughter's birthday. Don't expect to remember your daughter's birthday.
Did you forget your daughter's birthday? You forgot your daughter's birthday, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Okay, good.
That was a gross exaggeration, but I have forgot very, very simple things that I really have no business forgetting, because I'm jamming my brain up. So just be careful about what you're doing to your brain and give it a rest, and don't forget the 100 breaths.
Oh, yeah, and next show you show us the 100 breath thing again.
Okay, I watched the video of me doing it last time, and I did look a little silly, but okay.
Not now, next show. It's a teaser.
Oh, it's a teaser.
It's a teaser. All right, we're going to catch you. We're going to go 100 breaths next time and learn more about the brain with Nisha Jackson. Again, the website, nishajackson.com. That's it. And, of course, the book is Brilliant Burnout, How Successful Women Can Stay in the Game by Rewiring Their Bodies, Brains, and Hormones. She's Nisha Jackson, PhD. I'm Rusty Humphries, and we'll see you next time right here on The Nisha Jackson Show.